Hi guys, this is Alice from sewingathomemom.com. Welcome back to my channel. In today's sewing video, you can learn how to hem a dress and how to blind hem lined skirt with a split in the back. I'll also teach you how to lengthen a hem with invisible stitch. This is a factory seam, and first I'm going to remove the stitching from that original hemline. So that's how it looks. And the next will be this stitch. So I have to remove this stitch and that stitch. And then I'm going to undo the plain stitch. So pull the fabric apart and clip the stitches as you go. Please remember to like this video and subscribe for more content. If you have seam ripper, it works great. I have opened up the sides, as you can see here. So that's a step number one. It looks like I can't lengthen an inch how I wanted originally because the hem, when they do the split, they cut the excess fabric. So it wouldn't be too bulky at the split area. As you can see, there is a cut on the hemline, so I can't go the full inch as I planned. So for that reason, I have just a little bit, not as much as I wanted to. So it will be about 1 centimeter. And now step number two, I am going to remove the blind stitch, the thread that holds that stitch together. It's called blind stitch because you can't see it on the right side of the fabric. There is a trick to removing the blind stitch just by pulling it, but you have to do it gently. Once you get a grip of it, just pull. And the whole stitch, I don't know if you can see it because it's a very clear white thread, so it's hard to see, but see? You can see it in my hand. I just pull, and that's it. So this is a thread that was holding this hem together, and now I am ready to press this and make it as much longer as I can, which is only about 1/4, so it's not that much. Probably I wouldn't even touch it if I knew it was just in 1/4. Now I'm going to mark the final hemline. You can see there is that old hemline, and I'm gonna use that as a reference, and from that line I will be making 1/4 inch mark. 1/4. Then same thing on this side. And same thing. 1/4. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm just going to follow the marks, flip them nicely, and I'm gonna do the basting stitch so it will be much faster. I'm going to start with this side, but then before I do this, I will have to secure this part. So I will show you how to do that. Obviously, it's easier to do it with sewing machine, but if you don't have one, it's okay. It's not that much, so we can do it with a hand stitch, just a basic hand stitch. To secure that edge of the seam, you will have to align these two together so the right side goes inside. So follow the mark that you made, and then make sure that you have that 90-degree angle here. Align that nicely. Okay, I'm gonna just press it with my fingers, and then just to make sure that it's right on my mark. Okay, can you see that? And now I've got my thread and a knot at the end. Once you align these two together, you have to secure the stitch, and also you have to follow this line that you have, the original line. So all you will be sewing, like you will be sewing right next to that serge machine stitch. If you're not familiar with the basic stitch, you can check out my other video. I will post a link in here in this video so you can check it out. Very simple stitch. I'm going to secure that by making a loop and going with the needle through the loop, and I will do that a couple times, and that should be just fine. Okay, cut the thread off. Then make another knot at the end and continue on the other side. So that's the knot. And also I have to secure this part. So I will go in here so I can flip this one. Use the scissors to make sure that the corner will come out nice and sharp and straight. Perfect. Okay. There is a top stitch here, so I will just follow that. See that? So I will go from inside here. Gotta flip it like that. Make sure you make the stitches quite small. Please remember to like this video and subscribe for more content. If it helps, you can secure these with pins. That's how it looks so far. Perfect. And then once I press this and secure here and here, it will not go anywhere. So I'm gonna make a loop as I did before, and then go with the needle through the loop, pull to secure. 1, 2 times is plenty. Perfect. Done. Another knot in another side. So now we're gonna do the other side. Same thing, flip over. Make sure you align the dots, that this is your mark, right? So you can fold it, as I showed you before. Or you can press with the... Now I'm gonna continue all the way to the end of that line, and then we're gonna flip it. So I have secured the other part of the split. So this one is already turned nicely out. And let's turn this one out. See, I did lengthen this as much as I could. Remember, there is that cut over here that wouldn't allow me. So I don't have enough allowance to lengthen the full inch as I wanted to. So flip. You can help yourself with scissors or with the ruler to push the corner out. I like to do it with the scissor. Depends on your fabric. If it's delicate, You should use something that's not sharp. Definitely scissors are sharp. So just push it out as much as you can to make it a nice straight line. And now let's look. So we've got that and we've got that. Beautiful. See how nicely they align? Okay. Okay, let me just fix that. Okay, perfect. See that? Very nice. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna follow the mark and I'm gonna pre-press this. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a press, and I will also show you how to do the basting stitch, just so you know. If it's easier for you, you can also use pins. For me to use pins, it's about the same time as to do the basting stitch. So I'm just gonna use the iron to press it in place. See, there are my dots, my marks. I'm gonna follow them. Beautiful. And then you just flip it. You don't want the lining to be in a way, so you can push it away if it bothers you. If not, that's fine. So that's the mark. Then I'm going to match it with that edge. Perfect. Give it a good press. Give some steam if you have it. Beautiful, fantastic. All I have left is the other side. And then I'm ready for blind stitch. Okay, so there's my dot. So this one is a little bit tricky. I have to make sure that I will press it beautifully, because that's my finishing edge of the split. Beautiful. So if you feel comfortable enough, you can go ahead and do the blind stitch, as this is very well secured. Well, the way it is, it's not secured, but it will stay in place. Or you can do the basting stitch, or you can pin it with pins. I have my thread and the needle ready with green, dark green, like military green color, just so you can have an idea, well, so you can see where the basting stitch goes. And you can put a knot at the end, but usually we don't. And keep it as a single one. Don't connect these two. And then you just start somewhere. And you make big stitches. You make them only to keep them in place, so the fabric will not move when you do the stitch that you're looking for. So once you pull, make sure that you don't pull too much. You want this tail to be hanging there, because later when you're done, you're gonna pull it by that tail, but by that remaining thread. So this is very easy, simple, and quick. All you do is just pull, make sure that the thread is single, and that's it. You go all around. So I'm done with the basting stitch. As you can see, it's just a simple, very simple stitch to keep the two parts together so they will not move when I do the finishing seam. So now I'm going to move on to the plain stitch or blind stitch, also called invisible stitch. There's so many, and there are a couple other names that some people use, but let's just focus on those three for now. So I got my thread, and same as with the basting stitch, all you need, you will not want to connect these two ends of the thread. So keep them separate, don't connect them. And also you can watch my other video, how to do the plain stitch or blind stitch. I have it on my channel. I'm gonna link it here somewhere so you can check it out. As you can see over here on that split area, we've got that bigger fabric allowance and then just a bit. So I'm going to start from that side, because if there is any extra fabric that I need to hide, this is a perfect spot to just push it in and then sew it up. So I got my thread with the knot at the end, you can see. And first I'm going to go between, like under the lining, and I have to secure that serge stitch. I have a really good video on how to do the blind stitch, so I encourage you to pause this video and check it out, so it will be much easier for you to do it. Because I'm using a contrast thread, it's a yellow, and so the pants are brown and the thread is yellow, so you can see it perfectly how it needs to be done. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab just a little bit on the hemline, see? Pull, and then just a tiny bit on that finishing fabric, just few threads. Don't take too many threads, because if you do, it will show on the other side and you want to avoid that. That's why we call it a blind stitch. So then pull and you go back to the hemline, and then the top fabric, just a couple threads, pull, and you will continue that all around. Don't pull too hard, because if you pull too hard, it will create that visible line, which you want to avoid. You want your hemline to look as invisible as possible. So for that reason, you're grabbing just a couple threads. And I will just continue all around. I'm sure it will be boring to watch this, so I will just skip to the end. I'll see you when I finish that hemline all the way to the other split. See? Just a one. And here it doesn't matter. Well, I mean, obviously you don't want to pinch a centimeter, of course, but just like a few millimeters is okay. So that's how it looks so far. You can't really tell. I know it's a cream colored fabric, so it's hard to tell, but you can't. I mean, when you pinch just like 1 to 2 threads on that fabric, it will not show on that right side, which you're looking for. You're looking for a blind hem. That's what it calls invisible stitch. When you get to the end of the split, you will have to secure all of it very, very well, because obviously you don't want your split to open up. For that reason, you can make your stitches a little bit closer to each other. See how I'm doing? Hopefully you can see. So I'm taking more on the hemline and then just a little bit at the top fabric. Okay, and then nicely flip that down and see what I did? So I'm going to continue. Actually, I'm going to secure that, go all the way up the beginning of the stitch, secure it with the lining. So the lining will not go anywhere, will not open, that's what I mean. Beautiful, perfect. One more time. And then same thing, just a touch, like 1-2 threads, a little bit more on the allowance line. Please remember to like this video and subscribe for more content. And then we have the hemline, so that doesn't really matter. We can be more generous because that's not gonna show. And that's it. All I have to do now is secure. So again, same thing as I always do. I make a loop, get the needle through the loop, pull, do that a couple times. So 1 and a 2. Pull, and now I don't cut the thread right here because chances are it will just rip open. So what I do is I put the needle inside somewhere and then poke it up here. Pull, and now it's safe to cut. So this way I know it will not open up. It's nice and secure. And that's it. It's done. So all I have to do now is to press. And before I do that, I will remove the basting stitch. See the basting stitch? So it did its purpose. It worked well. Kept the hemline in place. And all you gotta do now is just pull. See how I'm pulling it? That's it, done. It's out. Beautiful. Fantastic, can't even tell. So let's press that. It's a good idea to press from your left side. Perfect. Beautiful. Please remember to like this video and subscribe for more content.